Hello! Welcome to part 2 of my art fight video. Today we're gonna just rewatch the recordings that I made during the time. It's been about half a year since I've looked at them, so I'm gonna provide comments where I can. It's gonna be unscripted, so maybe it'll be a mess, but let's see how this goes. This is a reference for the first character that I drew. I think his name is, what's his name? Califora? Salifora? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I love bugs and I love flies, which is what he's based on. And I like that he has multiple arms. I'm really hyped for drawing characters with multiple arms, and I was really excited to see how I was gonna draw the hair or color the hair, which was gonna have kind of like a holographic or a, what's the word? Iridescent. The iridescent sheen. It took me way too long to remember that. But it was important to me that I remembered the right word. Anyway, let's move on to the speed paint. His ref sheet said he likes to eat stinky, rotten meat, so I just went with that as vaguely the theme. Yeah, the sketch was really fun. I was also really hyped to draw this sweater. I just wanted to make it like really fuzzy and buggy, kinda. Yeah, I really liked the line art for this one too. I liked the textured line. So yeah, I wanted to do a pose that really highlighted the multiple arms. It's fun because you can do like many weird gestures. Oh, I forgot to put in the wings. Yeah, I love doing line art for bug wings. It's intimidating, but once you get into the flow, it can be really fun. So yeah, here I'm just kind of using textured brushes to like paint abstract meat that's also kind of moldy and gross. I love how long I took to render the texture, that like ham slice in the background, just to cover it up. That was pretty cool. But yeah, here you can see I'm doing the shading in grayscale, and then extra lighting. Yeah, I had some trouble getting the mold to look sufficiently moldy in this one, but the background, it came together way quicker in the recording than it did in real life, from what I remember. Yeah, the hair was really fun too. And here I'm just trying to integrate the foreground and the background a little bit better. Anyway, this one was really enjoyable. I started off really strong, I think. I love drawing like creepy characters. My next drawing also happened to feature a character with multiple arms, but for this one I did a portrait, so unfortunately didn't get to draw them. These are both characters from a webcomic, but I haven't read it, so I don't know much about them. I was really excited to draw Rain, who is the mean-looking lady. I have a real soft spot for mean ladies. And the military dude is called No. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, N-O-W-E. I'm maybe mispronouncing that. But yeah, so this one was gonna be a portrait of them kinda interacting, kinda like mean mugging each other. Also, I should mention I chose to record this right after feeding my cat, so you can hear him digging around for his kibble in his puzzle feeder in the background. Sorry about that. Alright, on to the speed paint. It looks like I forgot to record the sketch phase of this. So we're going straight into the line art. Straight into the fill stage. This brush set has fixed width lines, which makes the line art feel a little bit closer to like inking traditionally, since it doesn't have any like pressure sensitivity. It's just like one size, which is kind of like using like fine liners in real life. I really enjoy it. It's got a very like raw kind of feel. I really struggled with the background and the expression of this one. I was trying to make it seem like Rain said something extremely unreasonable and No is they're like in a professional situation, so he has to kind of like mask his annoyance to the best of his ability and like still maintain some amount of decorum. Like I had a scene like that sort of in my head, but it's kind of subtle expression that I'm not sure I pulled off very well. I also just generally have a harder time drawing men than women. But I don't know, so far it looks fine. Now it looks horrible because the gradient map really, I chose some wild ass fucking colors. Yeah, here I'm just like trying to figure out how to make it work. That's the fun of using random colors, is you have to like figure it out. Here I'm using a lot of like overlay layers to try to like correct things and like push them back to how the characters is supposed to be, remembering to paint in some freckles, color correcting the outfits. I feel like at this stage, honestly, like I kind of get used to it. But yeah, I like how the expressions turned out. I really enjoyed how the line art looks on this. It's just not it's not a familiar style for me, so I look at it and I'm just like, I drew that? Okay. But yeah, that's the fun part of Art Fight, is you get to really try new stuff and push the boundaries. I mean, if you want to. I guess other people like just do it as a way to like decompress or relax. So it's really just what you make it. But yeah, so here's the finished drawing. I kind of, the expressions turned out pretty nice for this one, honestly. And the line art's doing a lot of work. The next character I drew is a furry. I was really excited to draw a character with like rounder proportions. I was also really excited to try my hand at the flower texture that they have enmeshed with their body hair or regular hair. This character is also called Character, so yeah, let's move on to the speed paint. So I started the recording process almost at the beginning. Have a hard time remembering because it's not a normal part of my workflow. Anyway, I had some trouble trying to figure out how to do the face, just because it's very much more like stylized than my normal drawing style. And I wanted it to be kind of like cutesy and cartoony, but I got there eventually. Yeah, the pose just kind of came together really quick. It's kind of funny, like the perspective was not as hard as just getting the expression of the eye correct. So yeah, I did the line art for the glittery spider web first. The line art for this is I think it's just a single pixel, or the brush that I use for the line art, which is very interesting to work with. Anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed doing the lines for the petals. Oh yeah, they said in the description that I could like mess around with or that I could explore the novel hobbies for this character, so I decided that they could do photography. So I gave them a little like waterproof disposable camera, because I thought like vintage photography would be pretty fun to get into, so just living out my dreams through my drawings, I guess. So yeah, I just like painted a nice little hiking scene, like maybe they're walking down the trail on a rainy day and taking pictures of nice stuff in the breaks of the showers. Oh yeah, the brush set for this one is simulated watercolors, which is really satisfying to work with, but they are kind of heavy on the computer. Like I remember my computer getting kind of mad with it simulating like the large swaths of color. So yeah, here I am figuring out my values and then throwing on a gradient map. And I think I'm just overlaying on like a normal layer to do a little bit of color correction. I think the fur tone ended up being pretty close to what I wanted in the end. Painting the horns. I remember I had a lot of fun painting the horns. They kind of made me think of like croissants. I think now I'm doing a highlight pass. Yeah, I really liked the way that the coloring turned out in the horns. I like the look when you add like random little swatches of different hues. I think I added like an adjustment layer to increase the contrast a bit between the character's like body and the background. Just color correcting. Oh, doing the highlights in plastic. Oh, smooth plastic or clear plastic is such a satisfying texture to render. I think it's because I'm a millennial. I'm just like have a forever weakness for transparent plastic. Yeah, now I'm just adding a Gaussian blur and putting a lens blur in the background to further distinguish the character from the background. And I think it's about done. Yeah, I'm just coloring the line art at this point, which is hard to see in the render because the line width is only a single pixel. This one took me, I think this might have taken the most hours out of any of the paintings that I did for Art Fight this year. I think it was just a combination of having like the really thin line art and the watercolor brushes kind of pushing stuff around and taking a little bit of time to render. But yeah, I'm very happy with this one. I liked the soft color palette that it has. Here's the next character that I drew this year. His name is Helios, and he's a knight. I don't really draw armor at all ever, so I wasn't quite sure how that was gonna go. But I really like the color palette. I liked the dark colored armor with the blue highlights. I was looking forward to figuring that out. And yeah, he looks really dark and brooding, but he kind of has a soft side, so I was looking forward to maybe bringing that part of him out a little bit in my drawing. So this time I remembered to hit the record button at the start of my drawing. His description, or Helios's description, says that he has a warhorse whom he adores. So bringing out the softness of that character for me was making a nice picture of him just hanging out with his best bud. Yeah, it was just like, what am I trying to say? I just wanted to draw like a horse boy hanging out with his buddy. Because I chose to draw him in his armor, that meant I also had to design armor for the horse, which was kind of challenging because I didn't want to do like the full. There I am messing around trying to find the right line art. I didn't want to do full horse armor because that would just be so much detail and it would compete against the armor. I don't recall exactly which brush set that this is, but it does have kind of it has a textured line art. I think it's the textured inky set that I made. Yeah, lining the armor really just came together. I guess I had an easier time than I was expecting, kind of imagining how the layers would sort of click together. And the reference image was also very clearly like laid out, like it very clearly showed how the armor fits together. Yeah, so I opted to only do partial horse armor, like maybe the outer layer has been removed for the time being so the horse can take a break. Like narratively, that's sort of the justification I'm using. Yeah, so here I am doing the fill. I feel like the one trouble I had with the line art of this was because I use a consistent size for like a consistent canvas size for every drawing. Some of the details ended up being kind of small since it's a full body that includes both the character and the horse, so they're kind of scaled down a little bit. And here I am rendering in the lighting, sort of figuring out where all the light and the shadow is going to be. All of the flat colors are very dark, so I think I'm toggling the transparency a lot so I can figure out where I am, what I'm doing. Oh yeah, and here I get to shade the armor, figure out how to make a metallic reflective surfaces look kind of convincing. I really like using textured brushes. You can get a lot of the work done for you just by using a textured brush rather than something that's really soft. Yeah, so my palette ended up being very pastel, very pink. That was a little bit unintentional, but I think it really works. It's just like a very battle-hardened looking character, but in a moment of softness. I like the sort of contrast there. Yeah, I really like the way that the purples on the horse look. And a very minimal background. I feel like this one ended up kind of looking like a comic panel or something. And yeah, it's just about finished. I think all that's left to do is coloring the line art, which is always hard to see in the... It makes a huge difference in the final image, but it's hard to see in the process. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this one overall. I like the way that the textured brush brings out the character. I feel like this brush set and this color palette worked pretty well with the original character that I was drawing. Here's the next character. At this point, we're about halfway through Art Fight. I did 12 drawings total, and this is number 6. This one is called Serpent Tamer. Yeah, this type of ref sheet is really nice, where it has like some descriptions. It makes it a little bit easier to figure out what kind of direction you're gonna go with the character. I love monsters, like monster characters. I think they're all fucking awesome. And this one has a super sleek design, and I was really looking forward to how I was gonna render the various, or the material of the flesh, question mark? So yeah, let's see how it went for me. So I started with trying to figure out the pose. The character is very like gangly, so I wanted to accentuate that kind of feature, make them kind of like wiggly wobbly, if that makes any sense. And they're a mad scientist, so I had to draw them fucking up an experiment in some way. Someone really loud is driving down the street, sorry. Anyway, this is also the fixed width brush, which is one of my favorites to line with. I don't know, it's just really like simple and straightforward. The smoke was done in an instant, but it took me a really long time to figure out how to do those shapes. It was a combination of like erasing or using the erase tool to sort of more accurately define the shape. I think that the sort of storyline I was going for this one was that they like messed up a vial of something that like spawned a bunch of water or something weird like that. Yeah, the gradient map looks pretty cool on this one too. It seems like it's just about finished. I think at this point I think I'm just like painting in water or like coloring the water, like showing the poison in it. Yeah, and here's the end result. I really liked how the colors and the reflectiveness turned out on this one. I think it was one of my favorites of the set. The next drawing is for my friend Grimsprout. This character, I don't know what to say about it. It's a wolf, but scary. I was really looking forward to drawing like a scary, snarling wolf with bloody fur. I don't know, I like drawing scary stuff, but also kind of cute. Anyway, let's see how it goes. So this character is a demon, and the description said we can like add more like monstrous features, like horns or like a devil tail or whatever. So I decided to I forgot to say the name of this character. It's called Ciar, C-I-A-R. I have no idea how to pronounce that actually, now that I attempt it. But anyway, he's a demon. So I decided to add a bunch of like spikes, like instead of just only devil horns on his head. I thought it would be cool to like have him go all the way down the body. And he uses blood magic. That's why he's all bloody, and can summon weapons. So I put him in this kind of like spooky, like pillar summoning circle place. I don't know. And he used his own blood to smear a summoning circle, and he's summoning a spear, which is loosely based on a Elden Ring weapon. From Soft Games have really good weapon design, so I was like, I'm just gonna borrow from their aesthetic a little bit. Yeah, I used a nice chunky brush to do the line art. This is actually one of my favorite line art brushes. And yeah, I kind of like stretched him out a little bit and made him like muscly. I think I could have made the muzzle maybe a better shape, but he's kind of like stocky in the reference image, so I think I got the anatomy pretty close anyway. Drawing like snarling dogs is, it looks really cool, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to draw. Yeah, here I'm doing the shading. I wanted this to be very like dark and moody. Wow, I missed it. I didn't see the part where I was rendering the background, but I felt like it was harder in the moment. Some stuff looks like it just came together instantly in the recording process, but in real life it was actually a little bit tougher. I guess it doesn't capture the amount of time that I spent like thinking about things. Yeah, here I am doing color correction, trying to get the color of the blood correct, because I wanted it to be kind of like magical, so it's a little bit glowy. Yeah, trying to figure out how the blood and the fur would interact. Just modifying the colors so that it matches the reference better. The colors on the spear look pretty cool. Looking at it now, I kind of like I like when you can hide like contrasting colors in, like there's some cool tones in the shadows. Even though the spear's base is kind of like a yellowy golden. And yeah, I think right now I'm just doing like Gaussian blur. It's basically finished. But yeah, this one I really like it. It's very purple. Apparently purple is one of my favorite colors. A lot of my art ends up being very purple. It's not necessarily intentional, but I think I just gravitate towards violets and pinks for whatever reason. But yeah, I also really like how the glowing eye turned out. This one is a good one. I mean, Grimsprout's characters in general are just very nice to draw. The next character is Juniper. It says in his description that he's a shapeshifter and can shapeshift into a fox with a really long tail, but that sometimes, because he's kind of cursed, he turns into a monster. So I took that and ran with it because, as we've already discussed, I love drawing monsters. So for this one, I decided to do like a fox, like definitely a fox with a really long tail, but also some parts of it are kind of off and monstrous, and you'll see in the recording process. So for this one, I actually used my Oakaki brush set, and this is the only art fight drawing this year that for which I rolled this particular brush set, which has like literally single pixel brushes, which is why this looks kind of blurry because the image itself is really small. But I really like the look of it. It's like almost pixel art, but not quite. It's basically mimicking the Oakaki drawing boards that existed in like the early 2000s, where canvases were really small. But yeah, it's a look that you don't come across very often anymore, but I feel super nostalgic for it. Anyway, here I am like filling out the line art, and yeah, so now we're moving on to background. Yeah, I had to zero in on just the background for a little bit, and now I'm filling in the flats. But anyway, yeah, this character I really enjoyed. Like I looked a little bit, I think, at the fox forms that other people had drawn for inspiration, but his human form gave me a lot to work with also. But yeah, I just wanted it to be like kind of subtle, like there's like mostly foxy, but there's like something wrong, so I gave him like really, really long proportions, like he's kind of stretched out, and extra toes. So definitely like the kind of creature that you would be like, oh, that's like a woodland animal, and then when you look closer at it, you're like, there's something weird about that. And yeah, I really enjoyed like trying to make his braids look like maybe they have a mind of their own, like maybe they can be moved independently of the rest of the hair, like tentacles or something. Yeah, this one also took a really, like you would think it wouldn't take very long because the canvas is so small, but it took a pretty long time to like get all the shading done. I think part of it is it's just modern software is not meant to work so small. Like I can only zoom in at specific intervals, or else it looks kind of blurry in my software, so I can only look at it at like exactly 200 or exactly 300%. And yeah, here I've put in the gradient map and now I'm doing color correcting. I think the colors turned out pretty good in this one. Like I had a pretty strong idea of what I wanted. And the blue and the orange work really well together. Yeah, I think I'm just doing a lot of like manual overpainting layers and like periodically merging them. So yeah, I think this one I approached it more as just like a straight up painting, or instead of using like adjustment layers, I'm just like putting in normal layers and manually color correcting and then merging periodically. Yeah, of all the ones, this one looks the most like actual painting. like like the process is very old school. Yeah, it's just about finished. I think I'm just doing like some details here and there. Yeah. And here's the finished drawing. Yeah, I love the look of the pixelated brushes and the sort of like old school oakaki kind of like there's a way that the airbrush used to look that is a lot smoother and nicer now, but I still have like a fondness for the retro kind of gritty art style. Here's a reference image for the next character. Her name is just Evening Host. She doesn't really have a name. This character is really interesting because they're a vampire, and the character permission said, I mean, literally everything about their appearance is adjustable, and that the only thing that is required to remain consistent is that they have to have very like thin, translucent or pale skin that has veins showing through. But I guess the lore is that because they're an eternal vampire, they can change their appearance over time. So I was really looking forward to figuring out how I was gonna style this character while keeping it within the vibe of the reference images that the user posted. So the vibe I got from this character was pretty mid-century, and I'm a little bit into fashion, so I thought it would be fun to try to design an outfit for her that would be kind of period appropriate. I don't know how actually historically accurate it was. I didn't like do a huge amount of research, but I just sort of like browsed around and looked on like historical photos, like Getty Images and stuff like that to try to get a feel for it. I don't recall what exact brush set this is. I think it's the textured inky one. It's the same brush set as the one that was for Helios, which I really enjoyed working with this year. So this one was nice. It was just a simple full body without too complicated of a background, and I just really focused on like exploring her character with the pose. I do really like vampires, just like as a concept for a character. I don't know, I don't really have a strong reason. I just think they're cool. I mean, I like all monsters except for zombies. Zombies are kind of mid. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, here I am doing the texture of the skin and the lighting. I wanted it to look kind of like she's like stepping out of like a dark alley or something like that. Kind of like creepy but also pretty. Like I wanted her to be both like attractive and unsettling. I really liked the detail that the artist set initially of having skin that's like very thin. It's a really cool idea. And yeah, here I am having set the gradient map. Now I'm reinforcing the shadows. Yeah, trying to get the lighting and maybe make her eyes look a little bit like they're reflective. I really enjoyed doing the jewelry for this, even though it's shaded pretty simply. It's like mostly just like 100% opacity, like high opacity brushes, but the way that the colors came together in the end. And I think it's also the shape language worked out pretty well. So at this point, I think I'm just coloring the line art and adding Gaussian blur and like finishing touches like that. I don't recall how I did the like translucent fabric of the arm. What are the gloves? Those are called gloves. Yeah, I don't really recall how I did that. I wasn't, because I should have paid closer attention when we were watching the painting process. But I think I just kind of added a little bit of brushwork over top to where the fabric would touch the skin to make it look more transparent there. Here's the next character. She's a druid. Her name is Bella Diana, and she's a One Piece OC, and I don't really know anything about One Piece. I watched like the first episode one time and was like, this is not really for me, but I do appreciate the character design, and because of how like whimsical it is, people's OCs for One Piece also are extremely charming. This character also had a whole ass Pinterest board dedicated to like outfit and like aesthetic inspiration, which was really nice. So I just kind of looked through it and found a couple pieces that like called out to me and then integrated them into her portrait. So yeah, and this character is hella cute, so I was super looking forward to drawing her. For this one, I used a brush set that was very pencil-like, basically just digital pencils. And I wanted it to look kind of like a classical portrait, like a classical painting portrait. So I went for kind of like a relaxed, Renaissance-y kind of pose. There's a specific word, but it's escaping me at the moment. But yeah, and I spent so long just like penciling in all of her braids and all of the beads, and it was just so tasty and detail oriented. Yeah, this one was really nice to do the lines for. And then of course I put like a belladonna wallpaper texture in the background. And yeah, here I am just plugging away at the liner. Oh, and I gave her eyelashes like kind of a leafy look. I just thought it would be fun to like put little plant motifs in anywhere that I could get away with it. You know, lining these braids was such a good time. And here's the very like the hand gesture. It has a term, an art history term, and I'm just not remembering it right now. Setting my values. Yeah, I feel like by this point, we're at the last couple of paintings, and I've really like found my flow. I feel like the second half, some of it comes together a little quicker, or I'm just like really deep into this particular work process, like this process or workflow. Oh, I remember. I remember doing the values for the beads. It took way longer in real life than it did. And yeah, because this is like pencils, it took me a little bit to get the texture right for the skin. Like I wanted it to definitely have texture, but not be too distracting. Yeah, I feel like I spent a really long time on the shading, just trying to get everything just right. Oh, now I'm trying to figure out, doing a color correction. This gradient map is very bright. I'll have to tone it down over time. But the gradient map turned out to be really nice underpainting for the hair. So like I'm just painting like the natural hair color on top of the really vibrant hues, and it makes the color pretty complex. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm only using like one color on top, but because there's so much going on the underpainting, it looks like it contrasts in a very aesthetically pleasing way. Trying to integrate some plant texture into the arms. Plant roots, veins, fibers, I don't know. Coloring in them titties. Adding the extra colors to the skin really helped, I think. Yeah, the color of the shirt turned out pretty nice too. Sort of like rhymes with the hair in a nice way. I think that was a little bit of line art correction. Yeah, and now I'm figuring out what to do with the background. I couldn't quite figure out what what the colors should be. I was sort of struggling with it, just trying to get it to like contrast appropriately with the character. I felt like she was getting kind of lost in it until I gave it this kind of like muted pink. But oh, here we are again, more pink. I guess I just am naturally drawn to pink. Anyway, here's the final render coming up. My next drawing has two characters in it, and one of them is a cute little simple shaped guy. One of them is Poyo, who's just a little guy, who is also annoying, and the other one, according to their description, I personally think Poyo is adorable. Anyway, the other one also doesn't have a name. They're just referred to as a candy-obsessed child, and needs to eat more vegetables and needs to go to therapy because they don't want to go. But takes their medication as prescribed. Anyway, for this one, I was excited to see how I was going to render the puffiness of Poyo's fur. And we were also given permission to change the outfit of Candy Obsessed Child. So I was really looking forward to like playing around with that and designing an outfit that like showed, I guess, how she likes candy without necessarily having explicit candy motifs. Like, I just wanted to make something that was colorful and playful and had kind of like bright and tasty looking textures without being actually candy. So yeah, on to the speed paint. So the brush that I used for this one I think is the same as I did for character back in the beginning. I had a vague idea of what the pose I wanted to be, but it took me a little bit to like figure out the specific gesture. For this one I had the concept of like Candy Obsessed Child is just kind of like in their own world, like spacing out as kids do, and then Poyo suddenly and annoyingly appears behind them, and they're just like, what is that? And also they're maybe a little bit perturbed by such a strange looking living creature appearing suddenly. But I don't know what the world for Candy Obsessed Child is like. Maybe Poyo-like creatures are common for them. I don't know. They're just startled by the sudden appearance of one where it shouldn't be. It's always a fun challenge to try to like take two OCs that a person has and put them together, like if it's reasonable, put them together, and just try to imagine like what kind of scenario they would be interacting with. Yeah, part of what I like about Art Fight is also the challenge of doing a character interaction every once in a while. I had to redo the dots because I couldn't. I did a very basic like grid underneath to plan out where they should go. Filling in my lines. I was weirdly excited to draw Poyo. I like drawing characters that have like interesting silhouettes. Like I draw a lot of people, but it's not the only thing that I enjoy drawing. And for this one I also wanted to go for more of an explicitly anime style. I'm never really sure how well I pull it off. Yeah, I wanted another layer over the dress that was semi-transparent. I like working with like semi-transparent fabrics. It just makes the shading portion a little bit more interesting. The brush that's used for the fill and like a lot of the painting segments, I don't know how to describe it. I've encountered them a couple times in different drawing software, and it's sort of weird to work with because instead of just like putting down the line itself, it the brush sort of like outlines the contour, and so you have to like, you're basically like outlining the area that you want to be filled in, and it's a strange way to work, but it's cool once you get used to it. Here I am using the watercolor brushes for the background. I wanted to make like a cool goopy texture. That part was maybe one of the most fun parts of this drawing, was the background. Threw in my gradient map. Now I'm doing color correction. I got a little bit lost in the sauce with the colors on this one. I think I deviated very slightly on the color scheme. If you look at the reference, the skin tone of Candy Obsessed Child is supposed to be a little bit more pink, and the eyes are supposed to be a bit more gray than I ended up in the finished work, but I was just very focused on like getting everything to contrast well. Oh, that one is actually done. I guess I didn't get the second half, but I'll put the finished painting in here. But yeah, I think it turned out all right, and the artist was cool with how the colors were in the end. That's always the risk of working experimentally with colors, is you don't want to deviate too far from the palette of the OC, just because you don't want to end up making something that's like disrespectful in the end. But I think it worked out well enough here. I'll just have to be more conscientious of it going forward. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this one. I think this one turned out very cute. We made it to the final character. This year and the year prior for Art Fight, I set myself a goal of 12 illustrations, because that feels like a nice round number, and I think I'll continue with that. Whether I actually meet that goal or not, it's whatever, but this year I did. This is my 12th character. This is Bella. She is a little demon dog who is just otherwise a normal pet dog for a demon. She's super cute. I love the concept of like a skull-faced dog that also has ears and is on fire sometimes. So we're finishing strong with this one. I got to use my beloved chunky line brush set for this one, so it was nice to finish with the tools that are super familiar. Yeah, I had a pretty strong idea of what I was gonna, like what the concept was gonna be for this one. I just wanted her to be kind of like, I'm pretty sure the title for this one is like the goodest girl in the crypt. So she's just like down there in the catacombs, just being her doggy self. But yeah, something about this one was giving Pokemon for me. I think I really leaned into that with the eyes. Like I wanted to make them like really large and endearing and cute, despite the fact that she's a literal skeleton. Well, not quite a literal skeleton, like literally 25% skeleton maybe. The background was fun for this one. I just kind of eyeballed the perspective. But because it's all like carved out of stone, like not super like what's the word I'm looking for? Like hand carved stone, so not incredibly precise. I was able to like look for fun intersections to make with the line and like really focus on compositionally like how the eye was gonna be led through the image. Oh, and I get to do all the lighting. I get to like figure out how all the candles and the flames are gonna reflect on stuff. That was really fun. Oh, it looks like I skipped some of the part where I filled in my values. Just kind of immediately went to the gradient map. Yeah, here I am like really focusing in on how the light was gonna work. Yeah, doing lighting got easier for me when I started to imagine like, or think about it like my brain is just doing like a render, or like I'm simulating light with my brain, which is not going to be necessarily accurate, but it just needs to like look believable enough. I love coloring fire. Just orange is such a nice color. And yeah, coloring in the local hue of the bone, but allowing the orange and the blue of the underpainting to come through. I really enjoyed working on this one. I can like still remember the podcast I was listening to while I was drawing it. Yeah, added a Gaussian blur to the line art, colored the lines, and then it looks like I'm adding a little bit of extra like filter masks and stuff to enhance the color of the flames. And here's the finished painting. I like the line art of this one a lot. The chunky lines are just so satisfying to work with. I do a thin line every once in a while to challenge myself, but chunky lines is definitely my comfort place. And because it's Art Fight, let's wrap this up with all of the attacks that I got this year, or defenses, I guess. So yeah, these are all of the drawings that I got of my characters this year. I think this is maybe the most that I've ever gotten, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I never go into Art Fight expecting very much. Like, it's mostly just for me to have fun exploring other people's characters. But it feels so special to have other people take the time to draw your little guys. So I just felt like I should spend some time here to share share my treasures. I've listed all of the artists' names on top of the drawing. So yeah, this was my Art Fight experience. My, I guess, wrap up for Art Fight 2025. Always super hyped for the next year. Maybe I'll do a video next year if I can, maybe not. Making videos is hard and I'm not good at it, but if anything, I hope this might have inspired some other people to try it out. It's really low pressure and a lot of fun. See ya!